Hello, and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. And this is the way to solve the world's problems. We want to get the world to be a kinder place. And being kinder means that you're willing to help others, that you're willing to do what's necessary to make the world a better place. And that's very easy when you use Route 664. 664 is a section of the tax code that allows you to do something phenomenal. It allows you to reduce your taxes, to increase your income, and it allows you to do something good for the community when you pass. That was the bargain that Congress gave us in 1969 when they passed Section 664 and others like it in the tax code. They wanted to build the charitable sector and make it more viable. That way it would take the burden off of government. So our mission here at Endow America, and we're using Route 664 as the vehicle, is to solve the problems of the country the way that is most effective and financially and economically sound so that the people benefit, the community benefits, and everybody has a better life. We believe that it's 664, not war. I think the world would be at peace if everybody was kind. And being kind is something that you can do very easily and painlessly and help yourself tremendously. When you can build your own endowment for your own income at the later stage in life that you can live on, be comfortable with, know you're never going to lose it, know that you're always going to have it available, that's a really important step in the planning for the future. And that is a key to people having more less stress and having a more comfortable life. And that's all this is about. We want to make it easier for people to be able to reach their success level and to be aware that they've taken advantage of the best financial solutions possible. You can work with an endowment engineer. Endowment engineers are a very significant profession now. They are folks who can help you create they will create a blueprint for you that you can take to your advisors to help you wend your way through Section 664. And we've also created an academy to teach people how to become professional endowment engineers, how to get that new necessary profession in the country, one where you'll be able to help others increase their own personal well-being as well as help the community. The Endowment Engineer, the Academy, is called Discovery 664 Academy, and it is available at the endowamerica.com website, endowamerica.com. Make sure you visit that website and look at all the things that are in the Endow America network. This is part of our service to the community, part of the way we see the world becoming a better place to live for everybody. One of my elements of my thought processes a long time ago was to end poverty, disease, and protect the earth. That was the thing that I wanted to accomplish. And I think that we can accomplish that if we can endow America. And America is a very kind place, and we can spread that kindness around the world. My guest today is Angela Andrieux. Is that, am I pronouncing your name correctly, Angela?
Angela Andrieux.
Angela, yep. Great. Yep. And Angela is a seasoned photographer and a product expert, and who wants to change how the world remembers through innovative photo management. That's I'd like to know more about what your objectives are.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me here. And I'm with Mylio Photos, which is an application that helps organize your lifetime of memories. What it does is it allows you to get all of your stuff from all of the different places we put our photos, whether that's from your iPhone. We have all these different cloud services that we use. Perhaps you have many different hard drives laying around in your home or your office. And then we have all of these older pictures that maybe we've scanned or we need to digitize. It's the process of getting them all into one central library that you can then access from all of your devices. And the thing that makes Mylio Photos different is that it is cloud independent. So you can use the cloud if you like. But what it does is it facilitates your devices talking directly to each other. So you have the option to keep everything private to you if you want. If you choose to use the cloud, everything is encrypted and secure. So you have the best of both worlds. So you have the backup, you have things accessible, but it's also kept private if that's where you want to be. So that's what I love about Mylio Photos is that it gets everything into one place. And then from there, I can choose how I want to share that with my family and with my loved ones.
So it takes your entire life history of photos and brings them into one place so you can, I guess, live your life through your photo memories. That's very interesting. I have,
Yes.
I know in my own case, I have a lot of photos on my phone. I have photos, actual photos. I have videotapes. I also have hard drives that have, a lot of vacation films and so on. So you end up getting immersed in your own existence. And tell me why people want to do something like that. What is the thing that you think is important in the soul of the human that makes them want that?
Well, I mean, we all have these memories, and our pictures are literal snapshots of those memories, but it's only as good as being able to find those memories when you want to go back and look and reflect on that. Or perhaps you run into a friend or a loved one and you want to say, hey, remember when? If you can find that, that's really powerful. But if it's scattered in a lot of different places, locating that particular memory when you want to retrieve it, it can be kind of hard. So what we aim to do is make that very, very easy to retrieve those memories, also get them organized to where when, at the end of your life, you're passing these memories on to the next generation, that things are organized, that things are not everywhere. Your next of kin aren't having to sort through, all these different hard drives and all those memories that could be potentially lost. It gives you an opportunity to get things organized, and so you can enjoy them. And then hopefully they're preserved for future generations.
You catalog them as you provide them. I would assume you identify what they are because I don't think AI is not quite up to the point of being able to recognize everything in somebody else's life.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Our software has some AI tools, like it has AI object recognition. So if you go in and search for, ocean or mountain or cat or dog or something like that, it absolutely finds those things. It also has amazing facial recognition to where it will recognize individual faces and images, but you go in there and name them. Once you have a name attached, it'll start to group those together so you can more easily go through and name everybody in your library. And then all of that is saved in an industry standard format that is easy to access from any application, not just ours.
That's very interesting, and I think that a lot of people can utilize that. Will utilize that. It's very. How long has this been around?
So the company's been around over 10 years. We've been heavily marketing it for the last about 3. We've got some really super smart people on our team that have built this, and it's just gotten to the point where we can actively get it out there in front of a lot more people now. And it's really cool to see what people are doing with it. I mean, initially we were targeting kind of photographers, but we see that the family historians, things like that, they love this software. And so we're really putting a lot of development into making it a great tool for the every person.
That's great. And I think it's a part of human kindness as well. So people can be kind to others and share images that they have, the memories that they have of somebody else. It's very, very fascinating.
Yes.
My guest is Angela Andrieux, and she represents a company called Mylio Photos.
Mylio.
Photos. Thank you for joining us today on Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. Appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Once upon a time, in a town quite grand, lived Eleanor with a sharp mind and a steady hand. She had an eye for detail, numbers were her game, and as she neared life's twilight, she sought lasting fame. One day, fate smiled with a windfall so bright. Eleanor saw a chance to set things right. She found Section 664, a tax code so rare. But for Kratz and Krutz, you're gonna need an engineer, an endowment engineer, savvy and wise. She crafted a plan, a legacy in disguise, a trust for her grand-twins, income to provide. But with a twist, they must serve, and must they, with pride. The twins took the challenge, and they ran with glee, establishing a center, a place for all to see. For animals and seniors, a haven of care, a place where love and kindness would flourish with flair. So remember, dear friends, as you navigate life, social security can ease your strife. With a heart full of giving and a mind so keen, you too can create a legacy unseen. Plan, prosper, pass on. That's the power of 664. Hello, it's that time of year. Summertime. I'm Wanda Myles reminding you to visit us at endowamerica.com where we've got lots of books for you to take to the pool or barbecue side. Take them wherever you go with your favorite book. As long as you're comfy. It don't matter if it's digital, or a good old-fashioned, I gotta be touching my book. First on tap on our book list, we have worked up quite a bookshelf. Check them out. One of my favorites. Another one of my favorites. And yet another one of my favorites. I have so many favorites. I love them all. If you're looking for a great book to read that, I don't know, kind of gets you comfortable with money, you should be comfortable with your money. Get reading, get cracking. EndowAmerica.com or buy the book at Amazon. You know where they are. Everybody knows where they are.
That's very good, Wanda. That's great. Now, I'm trying to get the coffee grounds out of my mouth.
It's been a coffee grind morning.
Yeah.
You know that taste of coffee grinds in your mouth. You're like, hey.
Well, you get it directly that way. It's like an infusion.
Breakfast.
Yeah, you do your own grinding.
So how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good. Yeah.
Good to be seen.
Yes. So I spent a lot of time yesterday working on our white paper. I sent you a copy of it.
Oh, good.
And it was very interesting because the original white paper went back to probably 2019. That was the first time we started. And the opening of it is about the debt. And the debt from that time to this time has increased from about 22 trillion to 35 trillion, which is incredibly frightening, actually, because at the time, in that original white paper, we talked about the problems that the debt creates, and the debt creates inflation for sure, and it's based on the government overspending, the government spending more than they need to do things that they shouldn't be doing, and they don't do it very well. So we want to find a way to make it better, and that's what they did when they created 664. That's what we're all about. The Academy is in place for people to learn how to use 664. You can find out how you can save taxes properly, how you can become an informed taxpayer rather than an uninformed taxpayer. It's dangerous to be uninformed about taxes. They're a very significant part of what we spend every year, and it's not voluntary. So you need to know how to do what you can to avoid it. As we've talked about many times, the Honorable Learned Hand said you're not duty-bound to pay the most law extracts. You have the right and privilege to reduce your taxes as much as legally possible. If you don't know how to do that, that's a problem for you to solve. And we help you solve that. If you come to the Academy on our website at endowamerica.com, you'll find the Discovery 664 Academy, which is about discovering how 664 can help you through your rest of your life and provide you with a lot of powerful tools that you can use both for yourself, your family, and for the community. And you can learn about it all at the Academy. And there are interesting topics. What are the tax levels, for example? What are the ways that you get taxed on your investments? You need to know the differences in the way some of these investments can avoid tax. And using charity, which is what 664 is all about, if you use charity in your planning, it helps you avoid tax and increase your income, and that's a really important part of the process, especially now at this time in our country when we do have enough money to cover the debt because there's a transfer of wealth that's going on. That transfer of wealth has been estimated by two professors at Boston College. Paul Shervish, I've met him on several occasions, talked to him about what he discovered with his research in the amount of money that was going to pass from the current generation to the next generation. And that was a study that was done, I'd like to say about 20 years ago. And at that time, based on the way the tax code was written, based on the amount of estate tax exclusion you had, and the gross domestic product, it could be anywhere from $64 trillion to $288 trillion that's going to pass from one generation to the next. And that's a problem that the people, not a problem, but that transfer of wealth is the target of a lot of different sides. The government is targeting that. They'd like to get some of that for taxes. The heirs are certainly targeting that because they want to get as much of that as they can. And the use of that and how that's going to develop over time is really important to moderate. And so if you have a way to learn how to moderate that using charity, that's part of what we'll learn on the Academy and through the Academy program. So
well,
I know you have researched this.
So yeah, you're talking about the wealth transfer from generations, but I came across this article, which I loved. It talks about the horizontal wealth transfer, which is to be the largest wealth transfer, and that is from spouses, as in husbands, to their wives. Most people have a rather futile idea of wealth going down through generations, said Paul Donovan, chief economist of UBS Global Wealth Management. But about 10% is likely to go sideways to spouses or partners and not yet giving it to children, although it will shift over time. So that's exciting, and it's a little different from the passing it down. So women are set to come into a lot of money. And we've had this discussion before about how women have more control over finances than's been reported. Wait, there was something here. It said, according to the McKinsey report, estimated that women are expected to control most of the $30 trillion in baby boomer wealth by 2030, while the wealth management industry has been traditionally dominated by male clients and male advisors. Hello. McKinsey said that that's changing, and it's changing fast. After years of playing second fiddle to men, the report said women are poised to take center stage. And I just find that's exciting, ladies.
Right.
So you need to figure out how to do your 664 is all I'm saying.
Well, I think what's really unique is the endowment engineering profession is not just a man's profession.
It's not.
It's a woman's profession. And I think women have a better handle on how to do endowment engineering than anybody else because they basically engineer, for the most part, their family budgets.
They are the
not the breadwinners, but
they are.
They're the bread organizers.
They are actually, McKinsey said that compared with 5 years ago, 30% more married women are making financial and investment decisions, and more women than ever are the family breadwinners, spurring growth in their investable assets.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that
because you just said they weren't breadwinners.
No, I didn't say they weren't breadwinners. I said in the way it used to be. Let's go back.
All right.
The way it used to be, the household budget was managed generally by the wife, and the wife was a homemaker. And then things changed when women really started entering the workforce, and there were two workers in a family.
I think 70s.
Yeah. Somewhere in there. And I think that since that time, there's been a significant change, and there's been an equalization of responsibility. I think there's been an equalization in a lot of ways. So I think that everything that was done in order to eliminate that prejudice of men were more hireable or whatever, it's worked. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Another part?
Yeah.
Luxury brands traditionally geared toward men are also adapting in the luxury watch market. Women's watches are one of the fastest growing segments. Hello, what time is it?
Yeah.
I think that's just funny. Women are buying more watches. Why? They need to know the time?
Well, I think they see them as a more useful piece of jewelry, I guess.
I guess. Yeah. My mother's always like, do you need a watch? I'm like, no, not really. Just like, no. She's always trying to get me to get a watch. It's like, I've got my phone.
It was a joke. I told my parents I wanted a watch for Christmas, so they let me. Anyway, so
okay.
This is a very interesting topic.
I think
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
I think, and then I've had a lot of. As a matter of fact, most of my clients are women.
Really?
Yeah, older women, widowed, for the most part, and they all have a similar mindset in a way that they view the way that they handle their own finances. They're very willing to let somebody direct them that they have confidence and trust in. That's a very important aspect of what what's required. Okay, and sometimes it's difficult to get that unless you build a long-term relationship. Until you have, I mean, I've worked with some of my clients for over 20 years, and so
Roseanne, God bless her, she makes me the greatest sausage and peppers when I come to see her, and
Gotta love that.
and I take them home, and they're just they're cherished. And that's a good thing. I think that's what we should have. We should have that kind of a working ambassador kind of relationship, which is what I kind of allude to in the ambassador program in the academy. People need to be ambassadors to each other. They need to be ambassadors to the community, and I think that would be a very kind thing. Human kindness, giving back what you know, helping people with their issues in a way that is valuable. And you can manage this wealth transfer in a lot of different ways. So you have to be careful how to segment it properly. I find when I ask most people, if you had a choice that you could leave all your money to whomever you could, who would you leave it to? Most people say, "I want to leave it to my kids." And if you say to them, "Well, there's a possibility that the government's going to say you can't leave it all to the kids. You're going to have to give some of it to us." And if you're given a choice between giving it to the government and giving it to a charity, what you can't give to your kids, most people choose giving it to charity.
And at that point, philanthropy could also benefit from this horizontal wealth transfer. The article continues. Giving to groups focused on women and girls grew 9% in 2020. The latest year measured to over $8 billion, according to the Women's Philanthropy Institute at the Lilly's Family School of Philanthropy. So philanthropy is growing as well. And
well, women in control of their own philanthropy will give to women's causes, and that makes sense. And that's how you get a balancing. The balancing occurs if everybody is successful and everybody does what's necessary to be ultimately as successful as you can be by utilizing. There's a level people can get to perfection. In other words, saying, okay, here's the perfect way to do what you can do. And that means taking into account a lot of the different things, the tax aspect, the charitable aspect, the family aspect, and actually designing it and engineering, coming up with a blueprint that's actually perfect. There's a perfect blueprint.
There is.
And then there's gradations back from that blueprint where you don't get the maximum bang out of your assets, but you're getting some bang out of your assets. So it's like somebody sells a vacation home and they're happy to get the burden of the vacation home off of them and get the exchange for money that they can invest, but they may not be getting the maximum amount of money that they could get if they would consider doing something differently. And that's what the blueprinting is all about. That's why endowment engineers providing blueprints helps people direct their advisors on how this gets done. That's the power of the blueprint, because without the blueprint, words and trying to explain some of these things are really difficult. And it's like building a house. I mean, if you want to build a $10 million house, you got to get somebody to draw a blueprint.
And every situation's different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And everybody has an individual fingerprint. The financial fingerprints of everybody is different. So, and there's no two alike. There aren't two people alike no matter where you go. And I've done quite a few financial analyses of people to determine that there's no two people alike. So everybody has their own issues. Everybody has their own thoughts, their own problems, their own things that they need to focus on. And that's getting to the point where you can be focused, understand what it is that you're focused on. What is it that you want to accomplish? What are your objectives? What do you have to work with? What's the best way to get there is what most people, I think, would be happy to have. And you can learn how to do it yourself by going to the academy.
Hey.
And in the academy, you can learn how to move, highly taxed assets into a less taxed realm, create some tax deductions so you can save some taxes, eliminate capital gains tax on transactions so you get more to invest, take it out of the estate if you have an estate tax problem. This has been going on for a long time, really at the highest level of earners in the country. People who are ultra wealthy pay less tax because they know how to use these devices. The devices that you learn about in the academy, now you can learn about them yourself. So you don't have to have an advisor to pay. You don't have to pay an advisor to do it.
Okay, I think that's the key, because most wealthy people can afford an advisor, whereas middle class folks may not be able to have that extra money to give to someone else to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And that's what the advantage is, I think, to the academy.
Well, one thing we found out in a lot of the interviews that we've done with people who are what I call the gurus in this area, in this endowment engineering area, the gurus like Emil Kalina and Brad Gornto. Emil's a very, very talented charitable, uses charitable planning on a lot of what he does. But what I find and what they've said is that this is an area that is not really taught in a lot of the professional schools. They know about it, but they don't get into it in depth. And that's one of the things that the Academy does, is it gets into the in-depth use of these devices that you can do individually. It's not like a 401k or a more, 401k is a little more challenging. It's a different kind of device. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what a 401k is. They know that it's for retirement purposes, but how to create one, how to make one, how to put it in, how to function with it, how to administer it. Those are a lot of things that people are not really familiar with. But in the case of the 664 section, people can become familiar with how to do that, and they can see the way to do that by using an administrator, by having somebody draw the trust for them, as long as they understand what the trust does. It's understanding what's going on. And you get that understanding by learning. And you go through the Academy courses. There are courses in 664 and the courses in the 664 Trust. There'll be a course about pooled income funds. There's courses about charitable gift annuities and how these are used to wend your way through the tax levels. So it's really, really powerful stuff. And we invite you to learn more about the Academy and become part of it. Go to endowamerica.com. Endowamerica.com is the way we want to teach the public about 664 and social security, the theory of social security. That section of the code, 664, equals two endowments, endowment squared. An endowment for you, the individual, and then an endowment that you leave behind when you're no longer here. And that was the bargain that Congress gave us in 1969. You do something for charity. When you pass, we'll give you lower taxes while you're alive. Most people don't know that it exists, and that's what we're trying to change. Everybody knows about other things, but this is something that you need to learn about, become an informed taxpayer. What it does, in essence, in the long term, we hope that by 2050, if what we're doing is successful, and I think one of the programs that we have now where we're working with chambers of commerce to introduce the AMB program, the Ambassador Endowment Engineer program, through the Academy to chambers of commerce around the country. We feel that if those ambassadors work with the business owners in those chambers, that they will educate them about how to be better taxpayers, pay less tax, and create more income for themselves. And in doing that, they also function as charitable fundraisers in a sense that when that individual does that, when the business owner uses the 664 or other parts of the code like it, if they do that, they're going to build charitable wealth in the community, which is good to support the community. Every community should have its own hospital. It could be free if it's endowed, if it has enough money to support it. You can have child care centers, you can have adult care centers, and all this all plays into the wealth transfer issue as well. Even though there's a great transfer of wealth, it's not all going to one person. It's going to a lot of people, and so they're going to get this wealth, and then what do they do with it? How do you manage that?
Is it a sexist statement to say that women might be more charitable?
No, I don't think. I think that's probably true. I think that there's a nurturing tribal feeling towards in charity, basically, where we're the community. It's the community taking care of the community's needs, and I think that nurturing is more of a part of that. That's that's what
it is. What it is.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think
thing, though.
Women and we've interviewed quite a few talented women who are in the philanthropic area. In the philanthropic field, people who've written great books.
Dawn Franks.
Dawn Franks.
I remember Dawn. She was one of the early ones, and she's wonderful. So check her out.
Yeah, you can check her interview out. It's really good.
And of course, we have our book, Social Security, if you want to just get an idea of what we're trying to do, the mission, the cause, and how we all came to be. It's the story of Social Security and how it's going to save the generation, or alpha generation anyway, and all generations really.
Well, hopefully it'll do what I talked about in the white paper when I revised it yesterday. I wanted to be clear about the relationship between Social Security and Social Charity. They sound alike, and they are very similar. They're both government programs. Social Security, everybody knows about because it's mandatory. Government comes in and they take a percentage of your money and they take a percentage from your employer and they put it into a pot that's going to create an endowment for you later on, either for you or for your widow or your widower, or for your if you're disabled. That's what it was designed to do. Social Charity is the same thing. It's designed to provide you with an endowment when you retire, or if you became disabled, or to your widow or widower, and they're exactly the same in that regard. But what happens to the funds after you expire is where the difference is. In Social Security, when you expire, those monies are gone. Everything you put in disappears into the ether of the government. But in Social Charity, whatever you've put in to provide yourself with that endowment income, that is going to be left into the community the way you see fit. You're going to develop that into the community. And you can also involve your children, your grandchildren, and make them a part of the community, a very important part of the community, by explaining to them what you want them to do, how you want them to distribute this phenomenal endowment that you created. And that's just really good stuff. You know, that's not difficult for people to get around. And I think my experience is that when people know that this exists, there's a complete change in the way they view what they'll be able to do with their own legacy, so to speak. You know, what can I do to make a difference?
You can't take it with you, and you are your sister's keeper.
Yeah. All right.
These are phrases I'm just going to throw out there because they're ancient.
Yeah, you could say people keeper.
I just, it's always been
person keeper.
I am my brother's keeper, but
yeah, exactly.
Take care of each other. I think it's really the whole reason I'm on board, because I think that we need to take care of each other and stop fighting for the love of something.
664, not war.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, and war is unfortunately, nobody should be dying today by that kind of violence. There's enough things happening where people have their own issues with their own health, but we don't need to have wars, and we don't need to be having aggression in the world. And Lincoln said the same thing. He said, malice towards none, charity towards all, and that's what we're talking about. We want you to be charitable, being charitable by being smart about your money, and especially when we're talking about kind of wealth that's going to transfer, you really need to be smart about it because a lot can go wasted. Wanda.
Yes, sir.
Wrap it up, kiddo.
Route664.org. You will find out so much more and enjoy some great music while you're there. Gotta love it. Route664.org. It's the road to human kindness, and look forward to seeing you there. Get the books on Amazon, or just go to the website, endowamerica.com.
That's the show for today. Thank you, folks.
See you next week.
Yep.